Start Lamed Ches. It's 38a. 5 points down. Learn everything. It's of a learning we should have to be some English immediately. So Amar Rab Chama Bar Chanina. See that? Rab Chama Bar Chanina says, Leihasher Moshe Elam Sultan Shaluches. Moshe Rabbeinu only became wealthy from the chiseling out the pieces that were chiseled out from the luches, from the tablets. Because the second tablet, right? Moshe Rabbeinu was supposed to do.
I wonder if that's where the English expression comes from, chisel.
Oh.
I'm just wondering.
Shenemar, as it says in the pasuk, Salacha shnei luches avanim karishayim, carve out for you 2 tablets like the first ones. The Sultan Shalchaye, it says Salacha, carve out for you, which means that he's going to be able to keep the chips that were carved out. Now, apparently it was an expensive stone. It was like a sapphire, so that would become wealthy from that. Amar Rabbi Yosi Bar Chanina. Rabbi Yosi Bar Chanina says, I didn't realize that Rabbi Chama Bar Chanina may be a brother of Rabbi Yosi Bar Chanina. I thought that Rabbi Yosi Bar Chanina, you looked this up on, said it's later. He's like a later than Rabbi Yochanan, but Rabbi Chama Bar Chanina is older than Rabbi Yochanan.
Chama Bar Chanina is a little bit before Rabbi Yochanan.
Okay, Rabbi Yosi Bar Chanina is after Rabbi Yochanan.
Yes.
Yeah, so they're not brothers, if that's the case.
Well, at least 75 years difference.
Okay, so according to the chart, it's 75 years.
At least.
Okay, Leinit Natayra El Lamesha Ulazare. Rabbi Chanina says, Torah was only given to Moshe, not to the Jewish people, given to Moshe. And to Moshe's descendants, Shnemer Ksav, what does it say? Ksavlacha, it says, Psalacha, write for you and carve out for you, Map Sultan Shalcha, Af Ksavan Shalcha. Just like the carving out is for you, which means he was supposed to keep the chips, right? Also, the writing of it was also just for Moshe Rabbeinu. However, Moshe Nagba, Moshe. However, that's Moshe Nagba Tevasayan. Moshe was very generous, V'nasal Yisrael, and he gave it to the Jewish people as well. He shared with us the Torah. Regarding this, it says in Mishlei, Tevayin Hu Yavarach. Blessed is the one that's generous, etc. Well,
generous in teaching the Torah.
Generous in teaching the Torah.
But we
right?
could also learn from this that if Hashem gives you extra money or a lot of wealth, that you can be generous.
Right.
Maybe.
Right. It's interesting. We're on 38. It's interesting that what would come out of this, if this is going to be the end of the Gemara, would come out is that Moshe Rabbeinu gets wealthy, and he gets a lot of knowledge, or he gets the Torah, and he shares the Torah. That's what would come out. Well, Masiv Rav Chizda has a question. Could you say this? That Hashem commanded me at that time to teach you. It's not just that it was given to Moshe. It was given to Moshe for Moshe to teach. Well, Gemara explains, she commanded it to me, and then I decided to teach it to you. So we can adjust that pasuk to mean the Lilamid Eschem. I decided to teach you. Another question. See that I was I taught to you the statutes and the laws as Hashem our God commanded. So that means Hashem commanded him to teach it. It says no, OCTV commanded it to me, and I decided to teach it to you.
Yeah, we say Torah
Right. Yeah, well, Tziva could mean to give instruction, right? No. That's from another source. Now it says, but it says, and write for you this song. Another question. Moshe is telling the Jewish people that they should write the song, which means that this is a command, right? It's coming from Hashem, that they're supposed to write this. It's coming to the Jewish people. The Gemara says, well, Hashir L'chudei, that's just the song, that's just Hazinu. That doesn't have to be the whole Torah. 1 second, it says that this song should be a testimony for the Jewish people. That means it's testifying about the whole Torah. That means, of course, Hashem commanded the whole Torah, wanted the whole Torah to be given over to the Jewish people. Ela Pulpula Balma says this like this. Of course, the Torah was given to Moshe to give to the Jewish people. But there were some extra profound analysis that was given to Moshe that he did not necessarily need to give it over to us, but he did because he was generous.
Profound analysis, less the crown, little things that was left.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right. Some say that that after the first, wanted to say that this was after the first luchos. Then Hashem says, "I'm just going to give it to the Jewish people." Some say that this Gemara is referring to by the second luchos, it was just for Moshe. Now I think there was extra additional parts of the Torah based on the second luchos. That maybe that's the pulpulim that Moshe was given by the second luchos, and but that's what he shared with us. Oh, yeah, but the first luchos weren't his. It was the second luchos that were his.
And the first one, Hashem carved.
Right, first one Hashem carved. No, he threw them.
Trying to get one.
Amar Rabbi Yochanan.
I was up on top of the mountain. I turned out to his head.
Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Especially there were 15 back then. 15.
15 what?
Wasn't there the 15 commandments? Wasn't that from one of the movies? One of the 10 commandments movies had here are the 15 and one dropped, and they said the 10 commandments.
Oh, so it was 3 times.
It sounds like a.
So Amar Rabbi Yochanan.
With sapphire?
Yeah.
Is that a hard rock that you can break easily, or is it?
I don't know. I've only seen them as little gems,
Right.
little dots. Are blue. I've never seen a big.
The hardness of it.
Right.
Breaking your mind up.
There was an article on.
I thought that was on.
This black.
Can you see it on the light?
What's your birthstone?
Oh yeah.
In a certain area near Accra. And it's also in the Torah. So then they stopped. These people started mining. There's like one family in Israel. Anyway, make long story short, they found these gems that they've never discovered anywhere else in the world.
Wow.
And there's the articles like, the
Wow.
and the Torah coming true, blah, blah, blah. So it's what they found like.
A unique gem.
Yeah, totally unique first time ever found.
Wow.
There's like all kinds of stuff that's very unique and unusual.
Wow. That's really something. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan says, "Eina Kadosh Baruch Hu Masher Shechinasei al Gibar v'Asher v'Chacham v'Anav v'Kulam Mimoshe." Someone told me. He said, based on the Rashi and Yeshua, he knows where to find a certain gem, sphalerite. Knows where to find it. Rashi, it says where it is, and he's going to go there, he's going to look for it. And then he had like another source from Yamin Haraifa that was like a 13th century Spanish scholar or something. Also that spoke about it, all based on the Tanakh. So, yeah, I don't think you found it. I think you got there. So, right. Right. Amar Rabbi Yechanan. Rabbi Yechanan says, "Hena Kadosh Baruch Hu Masher Shechinasei El Al Gibar Basher V'Chacham Anav V'Kol Mimesha." Rabbi Yechanan says that on who does Hashem choose to put his Shechinah on? Well, he's got to be strong, and rich, wise, and humble. How do we know this? We learned from Moshe.
Good shit.
Yeah, all these qualifications. Gibar, you should be strong. How do we know that Moshe was strong? The Tiv Yifr says, Mishkan. Moshe spread the covering over the Mishkan. And the master taught Moshe Rabbeinu Parso. Moshe Rabbeinu spread it over. It says that it was 10 amos tall. Must have been a big guy, right? Must have been strong. Gemara says, well, maybe he's tall and thin. How do you know he's strong? Maybe he's wiry.
He beat the giants. He's strong.
Oh, yeah, but he hit him right on his foot, on his ankle.
He jumped with a huge axe and just managed to hit him on the back.
So, but how do you know from this pasuk that he would be strong? Says element adenka. We have another pasuk. It says I grabbed the two luchos and I threw them from my hands and broke them. Well, the Tanya luchos are shisha v'rachman shisha v'avyan shleisha. The luchos are 6 tvachim by 6 tvachim and 3 tvachim wide. Pretty heavy for a gemstone. And okay, and he was able to throw it. Maybe just that he was carrying it.
How big?
Well, a tefach maybe it would be 4 inches. So 24 inches by 24 inches. Right. By 3 inches wide. So Usher in South Africa by the mine. So they have a brick, gold brick, on a velvet table. They say if you can pick it up, you can keep it. Everyone thinks they can pick it up, but you can't pick it up. Also, I think there's no grip on it. You can't really get
It's bolted to the table.
Gold is extremely dense.
Right. Okay.
Gold.
So
Very dense, but very soft.
Remember we mentioned about gold was not from this earth, from the Shemayim. It's not natural to the earth. So I read the other, since you're looking it up again. So apparently, after the initial creation, let's say day 1, all right, there was a giant meteorite shower at some point that brought gold, plutonium, and tungsten, I think. It's like, we also use in chips, I'm just saying, in this meteorite into the earth, because there's more of this on the surface than the core of the earth. So this isn't from the earth. So God gave us. You know,
I
know,
don't
it's about
understand.
God giving wealth. God gave it to us. And
I
then,
didn't understand
by the way,
the
it
cosmology
says
like
the
that.
meteor shower also brought the water, a lot of water to this planet, which they might be the line in the direction.
I thought it was from the gold was from the unstable elements that were they weren't natural, but the higher elements that then fell apart, and we were left with gold. That's what I thought. Okay.
Just talking about it,
So, yeah.
well, that's where they put it there. But it's not found in the surface of these things.
So Usher, how do we know he was wealthy? Well, that we had before. Psalacha, Sultan Shel Chayehi. It's Moshe Rabbeinu keeps the chips. Chacham, wise, Rav and Shmuel. Machlekes Rav and Shmuel, or maybe they both say, Rav and Shmuel both say. Damri Tavaya, they both say. Chamishim Shari Bina Nivru Bailam. There's 50 gates of understanding that were created. V'kol natan l'Moshe. Chaser achas. They were all given to Moshe except minus one. Shenemar, as it says, v'tachasrei mat me'alikim, is diminished a little bit from Hashem. Moshe Rabbeinu is a drop less in his understanding. Yeah, that's really something. So, Anav, what does it mean? Humble, the ksiv. Well, that we have easy. We have a pasuk that says Moshe Rabbeinu was the most humble. Rabbi Yochanan says, "Kol neviim ashirim hayu." All the neviim were wealthy. Minalan, as it says, where do we know this from? We have 4 prophets over here. Moshe Rabbeinu says, "I didn't take one donkey from you." Telling the Jewish people, if you're talking about taking it for free, what is he saying? That he didn't take it for free, or maybe it means that I didn't steal it from you. He's saying that I'm not the type of guy that would steal. Means he didn't even buy it. He didn't even buy from them. Why didn't he buy from them? Because he had his own herds of donkeys that he didn't need to buy from anyone. He owned his own Walmart, right? He had everything that he could possibly anyone could want. He doesn't need to buy anything. Well, the Gemara says maybe that's not the case. Maybe he was too poor to buy it. Right? It could go. This could go either way. It says Elam in Psalacha Psaltan Yeheshalcha. We have another source that the chips of the luchais he kept, and that's why he was wealthy. Shmuel Diksiv. Hineni anubi neged Hashem and neged Mashiach yashar milakachti v'chamar milakachti. This is it's at the end of Shmuel's life, I think. He said, testify about me. Did I ever take an ox from you, or did I ever take a donkey from you? Ibachinam, are we talking about that he took it for free? Maybe that means either stealing or just a gift. Lafukaman the shakal bachinam is saying that I didn't take it for free. It means he didn't even have to buy it. Why? Why did he have to buy it? Because he was so wealthy, he doesn't need to buy anything. He has everything. Well, Dilma Dani have it. Maybe it means he was poor and he wasn't able to buy it. We have another source. Shuvasa Haramasa. And he returned to Ramah Kisham Beisai because that's where his house was. Shmuel would travel around to judge the people. And when he would return home, he went to Ramah.
Going back to the
50 gates.
50 portals, the last one we get is that the source of this heroes?
I'm not sure. No, in the gates of, it says there's 32 pathways of wisdom. There's 50 gates of understanding. Yeah, it doesn't have to do with the 49 of the Aimer, that's Chesed Sheba Chesed. I don't think it has to do with that.
I didn't mean the count. I meant how the energy comes into the world.
Yeah, but there are 50 gates of understanding that I'm not sure if this has to do with the combination of the spheres. I think it's just a separate.
This reminds me, I don't know those 50 gates of wisdom. There's 50 gates of purity and impurity.
Right.
I think
Right.
At the time of Sodom, they were at the 49th level.
Right.
Of impurity.
No, I was
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So.
back to the gold rush, 1849, 49.
Oh,
That's good.
That's the much.
Is that when the gold rush was? 1849?
49. Just the 49.
Uh-huh.
And it's out of the gold you don't dig. The gold's like in the rivers.
Yeah.
It's like,
Right.
it's not like you have to dig it to the earth. The gold comes up.
Uh-huh.
What's wrong with what you were saying?
Interesting. But what this means is that he returned to Ramah because there was his house. What it really means is that everywhere he went, he took his house with him. means that he must have had help and people that would pack him up and bring his whole everything that he needed would go along. He had a house wherever he went.
That's a poor raya because you see these unfortunate homeless people and their whole house is on the shopping cart. But
Right.
the house with the word that we go also.
Or a mobile home.
Right.
So,
Just, but in this case, there were like thousands of counts.
yeah, I'm
Servants.
just saying, we're inclined
Right.
to see it.
What it means is we moved. My family, we moved a bunch of times, and it's like very hard work. It takes like a month off your life just to pack and unpack and move. It's a big deal. Right, we met this lady in Bell Harbor. Said, "Oh, she's moving to a house." I said, "Oh, how are you going to manage that?" I said, "Oh, it's nothing. Movers come in the morning. They pack everything up. They go to the place. They set everything up for you. That night, you sleep in your new bed in the new house. It's nothing." So
That's not the way you move.
that's not how we moved. We were busy at getting boxes from the wine store. You know. Okay. Tape. Amar Rava, Gadol Mashanemer B'Shmuel, Yesem Mishanemer B'Moshe. Rava says that it's more. It says more about Shmuel than it says even about Moshe. Dila b'Moshe Rabbeinu Ksiv Leichem Arachem Mem Nesasi Dafilu B'Schar. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't take a donkey from anyone, even to pay. Dila Gabi Shmuel Afilu B'Ratzon Leisachru. You see, by Moshe, it could have been that he paid. I don't understand what this means. It doesn't mean that by Moshe he took it against he Filu B'Schar.
Even with him.
Even with payment. But even with payment means that he didn't take it. But by Shmuel it says Afilu B'Ratzon Leisachru. Even willingly. He didn't take it. What does it mean by Moshe Rabbeinu? That he took it unwillingly? What does that mean?
Shmuel didn't even get paid with donkeys or oxen. Like Moshe, he paid for what he got, and he might have gotten payment in terms of animals.
Oh.
Where Shmuel saying, I didn't even take animals as part payment.
I feel a baratzon leisachru. But it meant renting.
Here it says not renting an item.
What?
Not renting an item. Want to read in English?
Yeah, let me see what it says.
Funny.
So by Moshe, I have not taken one donkey from them, meaning that he did not take an item from another against his will, even with payment. Wow. That's what we have to say, that he didn't take an item even with payment.
Because he had everything.
Okay, fine. Whereas with regard to Shmuel, even with consent of the owner, he would not rent an item from him.
He had his own.
So then what would the difference be?
Keep going. And they said you have not.
As you have not defrauded nor oppressed us, that's just explaining from the pasuk. Neither have you taken anything from any man's hand, even with his consent.
Well, when Moshe left,
His concern was
Mitzrayim-
that they consented to rent him the item only because they were embarrassed to refuse. So by Shmuel, it says he didn't even rent. Is that what it means to say? It's not so clear
what
from this
about the
text.
fact when Moshe left with Mitzrayim, they all took all the
Oh.
riches from Mitzrayim. So maybe we could say Moshe and Avi Hashem was with them. And
Right.
it says the Egyptians wanted to give him, maybe he said, "Oh, I'll take this, but yeah, I'll take this." That maybe Moshe didn't take anything.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Right. Maybe.
It's a different situation.
So how do we translate this? He didn't even take anything, even for payment, even if he paid for it. He didn't even rent it if the person was willing to rent it to him. Really, that means you didn't defraud us, you didn't oppress us. But what the Gemara is saying is Ritzaisano means even willingly, from the word ratzing. Where do we see Amos was wealthy? He said, Amos tells Amatzia I'm not a prophet. I'm not a son of a prophet. I'm a biker. I'm a herdsman, like takes care of cattle. And Baila Shekamim does something with sycamore trees. I don't know what Baila says. How do they translate it?
Dresser.
What is a dresser?
Maybe he's one who croons it or takes care of it.
Can the Matargim Rabbi Yosef are a Mari Gisi Ana? I'm a Mari Gisi. I'm a master of flock. B'shekamim li b'shvilusa, and I have sycamores in the lowlands. Okay, so that meant he was wealthy. He had the flocks and trees. Yaina the ksiv eaten schar but Yaina went on the boat, paid his ticket, and he went on the boat. From Rabbi Yochanan says, he paid for the whole boat. He chartered the boat.
Wow.
Everyone else got their money back, I guess. Amar Brahmanas Svina, the wages for that, the rental fee for that boat, to charter that boat, was 4,000 golden dinarim. Okay. Yeah.
The part before where it talks
You hope
about
what?
They got paid before the boat left, like not when they arrived.
the part where it talks about the renting and the giving of the donkey, could it be because since they were like kings, like since they were leaders, they didn't want like the people like to give them stuff like underpriced and get
Right.
benefit because they were like
Right.
leaders.
Right. That's probably part of this. And that's people in that position should not have to need favors from other people.
Not so favorable.
Right. Rabbi Yochanan says, Moshe Rabbeinu would learn the Torah and forget it until Hashem gave it to him as a gift. It's given to Moshe when he gave to Moshe when he finished to speak to him. That means that he gave it to him as a gift that he should be able to remember. Gemara says that right? If a person toils and he finds, you should believe him. Says that's talking about the Torah, but that's only talking about the understanding of the Torah, memory of the Torah. To remember that takes siyata d'shmaya, takes help from heaven.
And he brought down a lot of things that he didn't understand himself. That's how we know that God like, gifted it to him.
Right. Okay. New Mishnah. Back to Nedarim. Kazanes ishte vespanav. Talking about a person in like the first Mishnah of this chapter, that a person took a vow not to give benefit to his friend. His friend should not have any benefit from him, but he's still allowed to support the person's wife. So Ruvain takes this vow that Shimon can't have any benefit from him. So, but nevertheless, Ruvain is allowed to give money to Shimon's wife, Shimona, and the kids.
So maybe that was against the son-in-law.
But that's coming up. The son-in-law is going to come up
That
soon.
would be the daughter.
We'll see soon. So, but he's not allowed to give anything to Shimon, but he can give to Shimona, to his wife, and to the children. Even though Shimon himself is supposed to be supporting them, so it turns out that he's saving money. Yeah, the Ran explains that we're dealing here that he's giving extra, not what they actually need. That's what he said. Or maybe, yeah. Basically, he's paying more than what's. At least he explains it by. We'll see soon. We'll see soon.
Rabbi, and here Shimon and Shimona wouldn't be considered one entity.
No, that's what we're learning. Yeah, there's a discussion here. If you remember, the guy goes on a trip, and someone comes in and supports his wife. Can he then claim from the person? There was a machlekes for Rabbanan and Hanan. Hanan said, "Hiniach ma'isav al keren atzvi." You put your money on the horns of a deer.
The difference was if she requested the loan, like if he decided to
Right.
help out of his heart.
Right, very
He put
good.
the
That
money
was
in the
that was what we learned before. So the question is if this goes according to both opinions. Very good. He's allowed to support his wife, but he's not this fellow's wife, Shimona, but he's not allowed to give food to his animals, kosher and non-kosher animals, because that's saving him money from serving them. So why would he be allowed to support his wife? If you learn like Hanan, then he doesn't need to, the husband doesn't need to pay Reuven back ever. So you wouldn't need to pay Reuven back anyway. So the fact that Reuven is Meichelet is not really a gift because he wouldn't need to pay it back anyway. It's not really gaining from that. She would figure it out, but he wouldn't need to pay it back. But according to the Rabbanan, where he does need to pay it back, so then it seems like he's gaining money by the person saying you don't have to pay me. But we're saying that he's giving it as a gift. He's giving it as a gift.
But that would be the case, like if she requested the loan.
If he would have
And
requested
then-
the loan and then he would be Meichelet, that would be a problem. Yeah. But the animals were saying that they're not allowed to feed the animals because that's actually putting money into his piggy bank. Because the animal's getting fatter, which is he'll be able to sell it for more or eat it if it's a kosher animal. Belezer says that he can feed Shimon's kosher, non-kosher animals, but not the kosher animals. The kosher animals he's going to eat, that what the food that he's giving him is going straight into his mouth. It's actually feeding Shimon via the animal eating it.
But the other one, he could sell it and.
Okay, so 1 second. Amalai, they said, Ma bein tameil tahira. What's the difference of a non-kosher animal and a kosher animal? Amalahu, he said back, Shatira nafshe l'shemayim begufei shaloi. A Torah animal, the soul is heaven, but the body is the owner's, which means he can eat it. Tameya, but the non-kosher animal, nafshe begufa l'shemayim, even the body is heaven's, which means he can't eat it anyway. Amalai, they said back, Afatmeya nafshe l'shemayim begufa shaloi. He can also keep the body of the non-kosher animal. Can sell it to a non-Jew or to feed it to the dog. So he still has ownership over that. And when you feed it, you make it heavier. So you can sell it for more.
Donkey's non-kosher, he could use it like to work.
Right. Now, turns out Rabbi Eliezer's opinion is that the non-kosher animals which are used for work don't really need that extra weight. The animals that you eat, those you want them to be plump and heavy. So that's the okay, fine. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak bar Chananya Amar Rav Huna. I have a statement here from Rav Huna, second generation Amira. Mudar na mechavere. Someone takes a vow not to give benefit to his friend. Mutal hasi lebita, he's allowed to marry his daughter to him. Habi bar Reb Zera. Reb Zera has a question on what Rav Huna said. But my askina, what's the case? What's going on over here? Are we saying that the father-in-law, the father of the bride, is not allowed to give benefit to the groom? So what he said, he hates this groom. He says, you can't have any benefits from me. Reuven has a daughter, and he is the Dina, and Shimon is the chassan, right? I should say Reuven has a daughter, Shimona. That's the thing. Reuven has a daughter, Shimona, and Shimon is the chassan. So Reuven doesn't like Shimon. He took a vow. He's not going to give him any benefit. So he's allowed to give Shimona to marry. 1 second. Says he's giving Shimon a maid. Not politically correct. He's giving his daughter as a wife. The Gemara is calling this a maid. Okay. Ella still does the laundry. Ella.
Why does it say maid?
Where it's exaggerating the benefit that the person can't give him a daughter. He said he's not going to give him any benefit. He's giving him a maid. by giving him a wife.
I mean, she could,
Yeah. Well, we're looking for like financial, you know.
I mean, she could still consent without the.
Oh, so one second. Yeah, you're jumping to the answer. Maybe it's the other way. Maybe we're talking about that Shimon doesn't like Reuven. And Shimon says that he's not going to give Reuven any benefit. Now what we're saying is that he's still allowed to marry Reuven's daughter, Shimona, because he's not giving Reuven that benefit when he feeds his wife. He's giving her to his wife, the daughter. He's allowed to feed the daughter after he marries her. Gemara says, if that's the case, then I don't need Rav Huna to tell me this. I learned something even greater than this, a bigger chiddush, more surprising thing in the Mishnah. The Mishnah said, the Mishnah said that if someone took a vow not to give benefit to his friend, that he was allowed to feed the person's wife. He wasn't even married to her. Just to walk in there and just give her food. He was allowed to, because he wasn't giving the benefit directly to the person that he took the vow. Reuven wasn't giving the benefit to Shimon. So here, actually, Shimon took the vow not to give the benefit to Reuven. That was the vow. So he was allowed to feed Reuven's wife and daughter. So here he's married her. But of course he's allowed to feed her if he marries her. So I don't need Rav Huna, who's an Amira, to tell me something that the Mishnah was so clearly including, right? He was allowed to feed the wife of and daughter of children of someone that he took a vow not to give benefit to. For sure, if he marries them, for sure he can feed. We're going back, saying that the Reuven says that he doesn't want to give benefit to the chassan. So why is he allowed to marry off his daughter to him? Why is he allowed to let Shimona, his daughter, marry Shimon? He's giving Shimon a maid. He says no. Talking about that Shimona was already reached maturity, and she was marrying Reuven. She was marrying Shimon on her own. Tanya Nami Hachi, we have a brisa that supports this. Very clear that if she would have been underage, and he would be marrying off to Shimon, his daughter, Shimona, he would marry Shimona to Shimon. So then that would be prohibited because he's giving her a maid. It wasn't her doing; he was doing it. But once Shimona reaches the maturity, so then she's getting married to Shimon on her own. So then that was allowed. It's not the father's involvement. Amar Rabbi Yaakov. Rabbi Yaakov says, "Hamader b'noi l'talmud Torah." Someone takes a vow. There's two ways of reading this Gemara, and it's confusing. One way of reading it is that he takes a vow that he's not giving his son anything unless he studies Torah. He wants him just to study Torah. Another way of reading this is that he takes a vow that he's not getting any benefit from his son. He doesn't want his son to waste his time. He says, "I'm not taking anything from you. I want you just to study Torah. Don't help in the house. Don't help clean for Pesach. You just go learn. We're not getting any benefit from you." So let's learn that way. That's what the Ram learns. But nevertheless, the son is allowed to fill a bucket of water for the father, and also to light the candle. These are small, minor things. This is not really bittul Torah. That would be fine. Yeah, in there it may translate it the opposite way. It may translate that the father doesn't want to give benefit to the son. Rabbi Yitzchak Amar, let's say Doug Cotton. Rabbi Yitzchak says he can roast a small fish, sardine. Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah. Rabbi Yechanan says, Rabbi Yirmiyah says, name of Rabbi Yechanan, if someone takes a vow from his friend that he's not going to give benefit to his friend, but he's still allowed to give him a cup of peace. What is a cup of peace? Ma'iniu, what is that? Hachatagim over here is translated. That means in Bavel, they translated Kaishal Beis Avel. In a mourner's house, he's allowed to pour him wine. They would have 10 cups of wine. They wanted to institute even more. after benching by the house of a mourner, drown out his sorrow. But so that he was allowed to pour for him. But whose wine was he pouring? He was pouring the mourner's wine. He wasn't giving him wine. That would have been a problem.
These examples, the son like takes the initiative of doing these things,
No,
or the father.
the
asks
father.
him? Because
I see what you're
I
saying.
tie it back to the other one.
I think it's the son is doing it on his own. Yeah, because if the father would have asked him, it would have been a shlichus. Yeah. Okay. But here we're saying that it's the possession of the mourner, and that's why the person isn't really giving him anything. He's just pouring it for him. But Marav Amri Keshel Beis Merchatz in Eretz Yisrael, they said it's the cup that they give to drink in the bathhouse. Apparently, in the bathhouse, they would give a hot cup of water to drink while he's taking the bath. Remember, they would heat him up inside and heat him up on the outside. Hot water on the outside and hot cup to drink. We drink in the bath. That's weird, but I guess so.
Not
I
to
think they thought-
dehydrate. So if it's very hot, like
In the
Shul
sauna.
houses, yeah, they take from the cold water.
Oh, so this is hot water. When they would come out, then they would take cold water to cool down.
It's still water.
Okay. Fine. Layosanas bemte chulo. He's not allowed to feed his animal. Tanya Yeshua Ish Uza Omer. This is a new Tana for us. Yeshua Ish Uza. Omer, he says, Zon avoda v'shevchais v'aktanim layosanas bemte bein tmei bein teir. He's allowed to feed his servants, and his maidservants, but he's not allowed to feed his animals. My time, what's the reason for this? They're just made to, there's two interpretations of this. One interpretation is that they're not made to eat. They're just, they die and that's it. But behema lepetuma avida, but the behema, the animal is made to fatten up because you're going to eat him. The other interpretation is that lemenakrusa, not menakrusa, they're made to clean. And that means to arrange things in the house. And if that's the case, we don't need them to be overfed. That doesn't help. We need them to be less fed. Otherwise they won't work as well. But the animal, we want it to be overfed. So that way they'll have more fat. Okay, let's leave it here. Have a good Shabbos, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good Shabbos.
Thank you.